Greetings to all of you, wherever you're listening from. I am Commander Bimal Raj, a TEDx speaker, internationally certified trainer and coach, mindset mentor, and a teen and parents coach. In this podcast, The Awkward Talks, I bring you topics that are usually considered taboo or are not discussed freely but are some of the most pivotal things that we should be talking about.
We all share one thing in common. We're all humans. Now, being human also means that we encounter a lot of difficult situations in life, some of which could be traumatic. I still have not come across anyone who does not have had some difficult memories that they want to forget but finds it difficult. Maybe you lost someone close to you, or there was a divorce you didn't see coming, or you were let go from your job in a painful way. Now, these memories could be related to your relationship, health, finance, or could be memories of some incident which still has a hold over you. Well, if you're one of those who are struggling to get rid of some memories so that you can move forward, then listen on. Let's talk a little more about unwanted memories. Some of these memories get triggered even today when you see or read about a random event or incident. It's very natural for your mind to recall painful events. But if these thoughts are interfering with your everyday life, then it's important to know how you can deal with them. More than 100 years ago, Sigmund Freud suggested that humans have a defense mechanism that they can use to help manage and block traumatic experiences and unwanted memories. Now, while there is still research going on, the good news is that scientists have started understanding how we may be able to do this. Today, thanks to neuroimaging studies, scientists know which brain systems play a part in deliberate forgetting, and studies have shown that it is possible for people to deliberately block memories from their consciousness. Now, before we get into the details of how to forget painful memories, it would be helpful to understand how a memory is formed. Some experts define memory as how the mind interprets, stores, and retrieves information. Memories develop when a person processes an event, causing neurons to send signals to each other, creating a network of connections of various strengths. Now, memories typically remain as long as a person revisits them. The more you think about a specific event, the stronger the neural connections become. Experts refer to this process of strengthening as reconsolidation. Now, this process can also alter memories and may make them more positive or negative. So what happens is that if you experienced a traumatic event when you are young, it may become more frightening every time you recall it. Unfortunately, bad memories tend to stick out more than good memories. Researchers believe this to be the case because bad memories have a stronger connection with our emotions. Now, emotion and memory are intrinsically linked. Our brains store the emotions experienced in our memory of the event. The stronger the emotions, the more details we can recall. Now let us look at memories that are traumatic. The American Psychological Association defines trauma as an emotional and even potentially physical response to any terrible event like an assault or a natural disaster. There are other events also, like doing something embarrassing in front of others or going blank on stage, which also have a certain amount of negative feelings associated with it, but they are not considered traumatic. The traumatic memories manifest in different ways and they can affect different aspects of your life, from your career to your relationships. This can dictate how you live, it can affect your choices and your overall physical as well as emotional well-being. Now, there can be three types of responses to trauma. First is emotional responses. Recalling negative memories can cause people to feel all sorts of emotions like anger, sadness, and even embarrassment. Memories can also be a source of anxiety for people. These may get triggered at the most unexpected circumstances. Returning to the scene of a trauma, for example, could cause a person to experience the same fear or anger they felt at the time of the incident. I have a friend who was caught in the middle of Mumbai riots many decades back. Even though it's a peaceful place today, she still feels anxious when she has to visit or pass the same place. Second, cognitive responses. A truly traumatic event negatively impacts cognitive abilities as well. This can lead to forgetfulness and brain fog. We might misplace things often or miss meetings and bill payments due to difficulty in concentrating and remembering. Third, physical responses. Now, traumatic events can cause people to respond physically to situations. You might sweat or have an increased heart rate when thinking over a traumatic incident from the past. A more severe trauma might prompt panic attacks or physical pain associated with the incident. Now let us talk about why it is important to stop reliving these painful memories. Now, stopping these memories is easier said than done because they tend to creep up unexpectedly. However, here are some of the dangers of reliving traumatic memories. First, increased mental health problems. When you dwell on the negatives, it puts you at a higher risk for depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Second, unhealthy coping skills. Studies show that rumination increases emotional distress, making you more likely to cope in unhealthy ways such as drugs or alcohol. Third, permanent negative thinking. Over time, negative thinking becomes a bad habit that's very hard to break. This can make it difficult to think positively even when you are presented with good things in life. Negative thinking is a hard cycle to break. Over time, rumination becomes a bad habit. It can become so ingrained that you'll have difficulty changing the way you think. There's a lot more that can be shared about this, but now let us look at the most important segment. What can we do to forget or at least manage painful or traumatic memories that are affecting us daily? You need to avoid objects and places that can cause the memory to relapse. For example, maybe you have bad memories related to an incident that happened at your elementary school and you recall what happened every time you pass it. You can start taking a new route to work in the morning and avoid the street where your school is. That way, you can keep your mind bad memory free a bit more often. Of course, not all triggers are entirely avoidable, and maybe you don't want to have to change your route to work. And if avoiding triggers isn't feasible, either because there are too many of them or you actually resent giving that memory that kind of power over you, there are other ways you can deal with the memory. Second, think about the memory until it loses its power. This step works for many people. The first few times you remember something bad, it might catch you off guard and leave you feeling anxious and deflated. Now, instead of pushing it out of your mind, allow yourself to remember what happened. Keep thinking about it until it loses its sting. Eventually, you'll just stop thinking about it so much, and even when you do, it will not be as painful anymore. Third, try memory alteration. Every time you remember something, the memory changes a bit. Your brain makes up for tiny gaps in your memory by replacing them with false information. You can actually take advantage of the way your brain works by replacing the bad parts of the memory with different information, and eventually you'll start recalling the changed version. For example, let's say you have a childhood memory about going on a boat ride with your father. You were so mesmerized with the water and leaned to dip your hand. You lost balance and fell into the water, and you didn't know swimming. This is a traumatic event that can create panic in you. However, there is another part of that memory where your dad jumped into the water and rescued you. That's a precious memory where you felt safe and loved, which is also part of the same event. Focus more on that instead of the trauma you felt when you went underwater. If you focus on the good feelings instead of the bad each time, the memory will begin to change in tone. Maybe it won't go from being a bad memory to a great one, but it might lose the power to hurt you. Fourth, focus on happier memories. If you find yourself dwelling on bad memories a lot, train your mind to switch to happy memories instead. Don't give a bad memory enough time to change your mood or make you feel anxious. Instead, the moment it comes to your mind, shift your thinking to a happier memory. Keep practicing it until you no longer automatically fall into the same old mental rut. Fifth, have a positive outlook. There's a saying, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. A 2021 study found that attaching a positive meaning to a past negative experience can have a long-lasting impact. Consider what you learned from the event. Even the most horrible experiences can teach us something. If the trauma is recent, it might take you a long time to realize what you have learned. But if you can look back and see that you have gained wisdom from the situation, your bad memory might lose some of its sting. Maybe it made you stronger, more patient, or resilient. Think of those aspects and it might help reduce the negative impact of those memories. Sixth, have an attitude of gratitude. Remember that negative experiences are an inevitable part of life. Difficult experiences make us stronger and help us appreciate the pleasurable moments in life. Unfortunately, without feeling bad once in a while, we wouldn't be able to appreciate feeling good. Try to count your blessings. Despite whatever you have lost due to the incident, look at your life now and make a list of the things that you are thankful for. Seventh, create happy memories. As time passes, the bad memory will naturally start to fade a little. You can speed up the process by living life fully and creating new good memories to fill up your mind. Spend time doing things you enjoy with people who make you happy. The more positive memories you make, the less significant the negative ones will seem in the long run. 8. Have a busy life. An idle mind is a devil's workshop, and that is very true when it comes to traumatic memories. Therefore, keep your schedule full and your mind stimulated so you have less time to dwell on negative thoughts. Go out more with friends or visit family more often. Distract yourself with a good book or pick up a new hobby or start a physical activity that challenges you. Exercising causes your brain to release endorphins that naturally improve your mood. Remember that the more time you spend sitting around with nothing to do, the more likely you are to dwell in old memories. So get into action mode. 9. Avoid alcohol and drugs. Using mind-altering substances can only make things worse, especially if the bad memory has left you feeling depressed or anxious. Alcohol can increase depression, irritability, and anxiety. Keep your mind healthy and positive, and the best way to do it is by avoiding alcohol and drugs. There are other forms of escapism also, like overeating or gambling, that people resort to just to try and remove the stress. Unfortunately, this will only add on more stress along the way. If you tend to do anything that is detrimental, identify it and take professional help. Next, make health a priority. When you're consumed with negative thoughts, it can be tough to remember to take good care of yourself. But keeping your body in good health has a big effect on the way you think. Eating nutritious food, getting plenty of sleep, and working out a few times a week will go a long way towards keeping bad memories away. You'll be busy feeling good about yourself. Next, try to cultivate mindfulness practice. Practicing mindfulness and bringing your focus to the present moment can help you keep painful memories away. When you start to practice being present, the things that hurt you will have less control over you. Some of the mindfulness practices that you can adopt are breath work, grounding exercises, meditation, reflective journaling, walking, meditation, yoga, and many more. Now, how can mental professionals help? There is something called exposure therapy, where you're exposed to a phobia within a safe environment. There was a study conducted in 2016 where researchers exposed individuals who were afraid of spiders and they were exposed to images of spiders. Over a period of time, they were exposed to the images for longer duration, and by the last session, people had lesser tendency to avoid spiders. This has more to do with getting away from phobias. Consider getting psychotherapy. If you feel that you need more than what a friend or a family member can offer, talking to a professional might be the right choice for you. Since the doctor-patient relationship is confidential, you don't have to worry about censoring yourself or feeling embarrassed. And a good therapist will be able to help you identify your triggers and teach you how to overcome them. Also, find out if you have post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. Now, this disorder can develop after a terrifying and harmful experience, such as being sexually abused, getting in a bad car accident, being violently assaulted, or having a terminal illness. For people with PTSD, memories of trauma don't fade away. It produces a feeling of constant anxiety that the bad situation will happen again. If you think you might have PTSD, it is important to seek help, since it is not something you can deal by yourself. And the symptoms of PTSD include having flashbacks, nightmares, and thoughts that frighten you constantly. Well, to conclude, in this episode, we did a deep dive into understanding painful and traumatic memories and discussed how you can release their power over you if you want to. The reason I specifically said if you want to is because unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to let go of these memories. They like to hide behind these memories and play the victim card. Their constant self-talk, unfortunately, is look at me, poor me, I went through so much, please sympathize with me. Please understand that there is nothing wrong in getting some sympathy for whatever happened in the past. The only challenge is when people refuse to let go of the past and move forward in life. Some people even create 4 walls around them, walls of self-pity, fear, blaming others and anger, and they will happily live within these 4 walls and watch life pass them by. I agree that whatever happened to you is not fair. It could be the worst that could happen to anyone. However, that is the past. You are here today, alive, and with people around you who love you and care for you. Please don't be selfish and deprive yourself and others of who you can be. Don't try to move ahead in life, constantly looking at the rearview mirror of your life. One of my mentors used to say, stop living by what you are defined by and start living by what's possible for you. Now ask yourself, what is possible for you? Trust me, anything is possible for you. You just need to decide and move forward and take the necessary action. Remember, an entire life of happiness awaits you. I wish you all the very best. Well, if you like this podcast, please don't forget to rate it and click on the follow button so that you don't miss any of our episodes. Do share this with others. There are many who really need to hear this. You may help someone change their life completely. This is Commander Bimal Raj, and I will be back with another awkward talk soon.